Mr. Smith.
Yeah, what's up? What's good? What's happening? Welcome to the King and Me show. I'm one half of this thing, King.
Hey y'all, it's Michelle. How y'all doing?
We here with y'all on this Memorial Day, a day in which our country honors our nation's fallen. And it is the last Monday of the month, May 26th.
Yes.
And
2025.
2025. And while today is a day to honor our nation's fallen, tomorrow is the day to honor one special person. But before we get into that, we here at the King and Me attempt to offer a real outlook on a healthy relationship. Real being relatable,
Entertaining,
accountable,
and loving.
Now, today we're gonna do something a little bit different. We hope that this works out great. But we have a special guest joining us.
Hi! Oh, my headphones.
Come on in.
Come on in. Here she
All right,
comes.
there you go.
This is the soon-to-be high school graduate as of tomorrow, Kastle Smith. This is named after me. No, I'm just playing.
No.
And who is that you have with you in your hand?
This is Adobe. Since I am going to school for graphic design, I decided to name my little Build-A-Bear that I got with my friends. Well, it's more of a frog. Adobe.
Okay. Cool beans. So this is my one and only. And our journey over the last 4 years has been a really interesting one. And it's definitely added a wrinkle with somebody that joined the frame for us in the last 2 and some change. Now, you know, there was something that me and Michelle had talked about at one point when things were pretty early with me and Michelle. You called her like an auntie.
Yeah.
And then at one point, you consider her like a bonus mom.
Yeah.
What was the thing that changed for you?
Well, I mean, I do still see her as an auntie because it is very, like, since, like, I have a very present mom, like, it's not, like, a matter of, like, replacing, but, like, that role is already fulfilled. But, like, there can be as many aunties out there, but it's just much easier to say bonus mom than my dad's girlfriend constantly. And, like, of course, everyone knows Michelle, but not everyone knows Michelle at the same time. So it's not like I can always just say Michelle unless they do know her, because people that I expect not to know her somehow do.
Okay, so I feel like that's a shock because you feel like I know everyone.
You do.
I don't.
No, she does. She does. She's lying.
It's just, you know, I met a couple people here and there, traveled. Okay, all right, fine. I'll take it.
Now, we did have some questions, but they're on that phone. Michelle, do you
question?
happen to have the questions and stuff?
Oh,
That were
questions. I was like, what are you talking about? Lies. Sorry. All right.
this week, not just tomorrow, but today's a celebration of you.
Mm-hmm.
You are about to be a young woman. I can cross my fingers and hope that me and your mother have imparted wisdom throughout your almost 18 years of living. I'm gonna say this. With what I see out there with some of these other people your age, some of your peers, not friends. When I say peers, that means people in your age group. A lot of them are trash. And I believe that I have raised you well. And I'm just gonna go with that. Now, Michelle, kind of take us through how today's gonna go for us.
All right, so Kastle, we do have some questions for you. Some, like, we may know the answer because we've asked you these things, but the general audience doesn't know. And how does this overall relate to dating? I'm so glad y'all asked. This relates because one of the things that we have to understand is that the older that we get in life, when we are looking at that dating marketplace, we are going to run into parents. So we're going to run into people who are now single who have children. And not saying that you must love that person's child, but loving that person's child does help and go a long way. Inviting them in, being a part of their family, and letting them be a part of your family goes a long way. So with that, it was important to me, not because your father said anything, not because your father mentioned it, but it was important for me to get to know you as an individual person, not you as King's daughter, but you as Kastle, who you are. So we talk, we have our things, we have our own, but the world doesn't know you. So let's have the world get to know you. So we have several sections here that I'm going to skip around with my random questions. So let's just start here. Kastle Smith, tomorrow you will be a graduate of the oldest high school in Frederick County, Maryland. If you could give freshman Kastle one piece of advice, what would you say?
Ooh.
I would say to trust your gut, because I went through a lot that year, and I'm just really glad that I pushed through what I went through. But definitely to trust my gut, because there's some people that I've met in my life that would have been better not meeting them, but at least now I know what to avoid, and I'm less gullible, still gullible, let's say, but I'm less, I guess, susceptible to people that are just rude, mean, just overall just disrespectful. So I would say to just trust your gut, because there are times when I'm like, it's fine. It was not fine.
Okay.
It was not fine.
That's fair. That's fair. What excites you most about going to college?
I'm really excited. So I already have a lot of freedoms, especially within the past year. I've started to use the public bus. I don't really have a driver's license yet. But I'm very lucky to live in a safe area to just go around places, to use the bus, to get anywhere that I want to, if I want to, without having to ask my parents hey, can you take me to these places? Granted, there are still places that are way too far, or places that are inaccessible for me to go to, that I had to be hey, could you take me here? Or it's too late or way too early. But I'm really excited for more of that. Get into just have that free will of, I can literally go to Chick-fil-A right now. Or I can literally go get myself food right now. And I already have that freedom, because my parents, they trust me. When I'm hey, can I go do this? Or I'm just straight up not asking. I'm hey, I'm gonna go to this place for lunch. And then I'll just text, I'm leaving the house. Yesterday I didn't let my dad know when I left the house, but I did say, yeah, I'm gonna leave to walk 40 minutes. Sorry. To walk 40 minutes to go to this place that has boba and Asian food. And halfway down, Dad calls me and he's so what's the decision? Cause I didn't fully decide. And I actually didn't know that you were still home. I thought you had already left. And I was oh, I left the house. I'm like down at like the highway. And everything was just fine. But I'm excited for more the freedoms to just like have that free will of I can literally just go get myself ice cream right now. Granted, I do have to learn self-control about that, but I feel like that's kind of the benefit of like college. Like it's not the real world yet. And I'm not saying that it's like a safety net to fall back on like for like mistakes, but I can still make mistakes and learn that self-control now as it is societally expected to be versus when I'm like in like my 30s or 40s when like I haven't yet learned that.
Let me go back to something that you said earlier. When I was 15, I couldn't wait to get my learner's permit. And when I was 16, I couldn't wait to get my driver's license.
Whipping it.
Why aren't you in the rush to get yours as well?
I don't like driving. That's scary. I don't like driving. It's like low-key kind of scary, and like I can easily get distracted. That can account for the fact that like, you know, like if I see a squirrel, I'm like, ooh, squirrel, literally. And like I don't exactly really trust myself to stay fully engaged in driving when I eventually have to be alone behind the wheel.
But why?
Driving is scary. Like I understand that like with the infrastructure that we have here in America, that you kind of have to have a car, but I kind of wish it wasn't like that because like I just like walking.
Okay.
Like I like walking and I know I can't do that everywhere, but I would much rather prefer just walking or biking to places than constantly driving because that's scary. Like I'm not only responsible for myself, but other people on the road, and that's the same to other drivers. And I'm like, that's a very scary responsibility.
Okay.
I love that. So this isn't one of the prepared questions. So, okay. The other day, you were here and you were about to head out the door and you were going out the door with another one of your peers who is graduating with you. Beautiful, brilliant, talented young lady. And I asked her a question. I said, how are you doing? I can't even remember like what the exact question was, but it was something along the lines of what we're talking to you about today. And her response still wows me. Like when you left, I had to tell it to your father. I asked something along the lines of like, "Are you excited? How are you feeling about all this?" And her response was, "She's in a good place," which lets her know that it's time to move on. And I'm still sitting here like taken aback because of the amount of wisdom that comes into knowing that because everything seems fine, good, and dandy now, this is the perfect time to move and to shake things up. So, what are your thoughts about that? How do you feel about essentially shaking things up, moving away from what is so familiar, literally into the beginning of a land of unfamiliarity?
I do feel like it is the perfect time to shake things up because, like, again, like I said earlier, like going into college, that's still not really the real world because, like, even though I'm about to be an adult in the eyes of the law, I'm still pretty much a kid, and I'm gonna be surrounded by other people who are still pretty much kids. And like the societal expectation that like we have it all together. Again, we're still kids. I have my friends like who are just like a year older, 2 years older, who are in college and they're still going through the same sort of drama and like they're still like at home. And I'm going to be going not too far. I I I really do think it is the perfect time to shake things up because I purposely chose a school that wasn't too far because I didn't want to be like in another state halfway across the country trying to figure out like the whatever local laws there are, like what local stuff there may be. I can still come home easily to see my friends. So like there's still that comfort of being home, but also going through that transition of having to like having to learn how to do things because there's a lot of things that I'm gonna have to learn, like better time management, especially money, yes, especially a job. I wanted a job all throughout high school.
Yeah.
And like I know like I was like busy with choir, but like I feel like learning how to handle like a job and like other extracurricular stuff would be really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's where the car situation comes back into it.
Okay.
Oh, her mic fell.
Oh no.
Oh,
Where
no.
did it go? I hope y'all heard me.
See, yeah. Because I can still hear the audio.
I'm gonna pull up this a little bit.
Find the... It's got to be on the white side.
It
Is
is.
that the white side? Okay.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay, we're just gonna work with this for now.
We're fine.
That's
It's
fine.
All right.
Now, there was something that you said that I'd like to touch on real quick. What if me and your mother decided to leave the state after you graduated? Would you have still chosen a college in this state?
Yes, I would still have chosen a college in this
So
state.
Maryland this is home for you.
Yes.
That's so weird. So I was in the military. We moved around a lot. When I got out when you were 4, 5 years old.
It had to been 4 because.
And we lived here since you were how old?
Since I was about almost 6.
And we're not from Maryland, y'all. This is just the longest place that she's known. And so since you were 6, so you're talking over a decade and some change.
12 years, yeah.
And now you consider this home. I think that that's funny because home for me is Alabama or just the South in general. But you're like Maryland.
No,
This is
no,
the-
we're not.
but, like,
no,
Okay,
we're
fine.
not having this conversation.
Maryland
again.
is not the South.
It is
Mm-mm.
still, we are still below the Mason-Dixon.
No, but it ain't South.
Okay.
It ain't South. No.
All right. Cool.
No.
All right, so I'm gonna let Kastle hang off the hot seat just for a little bit because I realized like this whole you two are twinning and I am standing out, so it's kind of like I'm the interviewer and you all are the interviewee. So,
Uh-huh.
Kastle, you get to fall back off of the hot seat for like 2 seconds, so don't get too comfortable.
All right.
All right, my question for you, sir. This is my microphone, even though I'm like wearing a microphone. My question for you. This is your one and only.
Okay.
How are you looking at things as she's preparing to step into this adult world? Do you feel like you've done everything that you should have done up until this point? Is there anything that you wish you would have done differently? Is there anything that you're like, crap, I have about 13 hours. Let me try to do this real quick so that I can say, I got this in before she graduated. Because literally, you got like about 13 hours.
What?
Remember, you're off the hot seat. He's on it.
No.
So what do you think and where are your thoughts?
Well, let me start here. Kastle knows that she wasn't a planned kid.
Yeah.
Right? She is aware of that. Before me and her mother got married, I said I wanted to wait until I was 30 before I started thinking about having kids. Surprise, surprise, you came a couple of years later after I got married in my 20s. Now, I felt like I was young. They don't give you a manual on how to raise a kid. And things that I would have loved myself, right? These are my dreams, my goals and things you did not do. Like, for example, I was into sports and things growing up. We tried you at soccer. And while I felt like you were one of the more, no, not even gonna say I feel like you were one of the more athletic kids out there, you had zero interest in doing
I
soccer
played with the grass.
whatsoever. You would run past and be like,
didn't hear
ooh,
that part.
dandelions. And pick up a dandelion when you could have been the one that scored the point. Things didn't go like how I thought that they would. And a lot of that is just, as an adult, juggling life. I was juggling a marriage, juggling a career in the military, which was a very dangerous job, juggling life. I've had peers and stuff that, didn't make it, and I just didn't want to screw things up with you. One of the biggest ways that I felt like a failure was when the marriage ended. I'm like, okay, here I've got my teenage kid that all she's known throughout her life is having her mother and her father under the same roof. Roof. And now that that's not happening, did I just screw her up? I'm not going to say we, because I'm not going to speak for your mom. Did I screw you up by having a failed marriage? Looking back at things, and I take into account everybody that's helped raise you, that's been a part of your life, you've had some really solid people that have, helped out. So it wasn't just me. It wasn't just your mom. It wasn't just your grandparents. Like, it was a good village of people. So I'm happy that I did have family and stuff that helped pick things up when I couldn't necessarily do everything myself. During some of them broke times, having to ask family members for, money to, help ensure that Kastle could, do things. Having the ability to have both of the grandparents over the summertime, have her come down and spend some time with them. It wasn't just like a finances thing, like a family thing. That helped on our finances because we were both working parents, that she wasn't necessarily old enough at that point to take care of herself. We couldn't afford childcare. So there were things that I'm glad worked out the way that they worked out. Some stuff that you just have to live life and figure it out. But overall, seeing that she was able to get through high school, be loved by her peers, be loved by the teachers and things, and finish in the top 10%?
No, not the top 10%.
Top 15?
I don't remember.
Do I have to slide it more to the right?
The top percentage.
I'm going to say
she's up
maybe
there.
top 25, but I'm not the 10% because they did show that as the award ceremony.
Okay.
I'm up there.
But you're up there. I mean, you only had, one B throughout your entire high school.
I'm petty about that B.
Your dad...
Still so petty.
Your dad had C's.
I mean, you saw
Please
my
get
middle school
degrees,
grades.
okay?
You saw my middle school grades. They were not good. Like, and I think it's because of the very forgiving grading system at my school. I understand.
The one thing, and Kastle, this might be new to you. The one thing that I was a little bit disappointed about was that when you had your first high school relationship, I feel like I was the last to know. And I'm like, how is Dad the last to know? And I felt some type of way about that, if I'm being honest with you. I don't know if I ever told you that. Have I ever told you that?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, man, you your first relationship, and it's like, because like there's milestones as a parent that you would like to be a part of, and I felt like I was left out.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
It's all right. It is what it is.
It can also be hard to keep up with who I tell, because I think I tell both parents.
I will give y'all a moment. So speaking of feeling left out,
Say.
go ahead. What are you saying?
Sorry. Let me just say. There are times when I think I tell the both of you, or I tell one parent, completely forget to tell the other. That is my bad. So I'm glad that we have a family group chat.
But then, it is one of the negative aspects. And I don't mean like negative just whatever, but just because it is a split household, that's not really, it's not fair for you to have to be like, I told one parent, I should make sure I tell the other parent. So it's not like something that's on you. It's just a reality when you do have a split household like that.
Okay.
So, nothing to apologize for or anything. It's just me just sharing my thoughts on it.
Okay.
So speaking of not wanting to leave people out, I do want to take a moment to acknowledge those who are in the chat. So we have coming all the way from Germany, Jason himself, who has popped into the building, and he had a question for King.
Okay.
His question was, why didn't you either hook Kastle up with a remote job or find a way to utilize her already God-given talents to make something profitable? And I did just want to comment on that because I did pop into her life when that was already going on. So if you didn't know, Jason, and this is a nice little plug section, if you didn't know, Kastle does have artwork on sale on Amazon.com. So if you go look for Kasfrog, Kasfrog, on Amazon, or if you go to our link tree, there is a link that directly takes you to Castle's section of the world on Amazon. She has some amazing artwork that she has created, and we've turned it, and I say we just collectively, knowing that it was King, we've turned it into hoodies, bags. I personally own, I want to say like 3 or 4 of Castle's hoodies. King has worn some of her shirts before. So King has taken it into a way that does become profitable for Castle. And all of the sales, all the proceeds from the sales go straight to Castle. So that is something that has been done. So I don't want you to think that her art skills or her beautiful work that she's done has not gone unseen. It definitely has. And then more of the plug, we do have our own website, thekingandmeshow.com, where you can get any of these lovely shirts that they're wearing, or even the shirt that I'm wearing. And we have asked Castle to design something for us to be able to put out. We're going to wait to follow up on that request, until after she gets situated, because she's got a busy couple of months coming up ahead. So we do have that available, but we love to support Castle and not only support her, but make sure that the world sees just how talented she is. The reality is, we're trying to get y'all in on the low right now, right? We want you to be able to get her merchandise while you can still reasonably afford it, because when she blows up, as we know she will, the value of her stuff will increase, and you're going to be sitting there in Germany, in Pennsylvania, Pete, down in Atlanta, Tarika, and you're going to be like, oh man, I wish I would have gotten something, back when it was cheaper. And I'm just trying to help you get that stuff now, because in about 10 years, when her stuff is significantly more expensive, we don't want you to be having FOMO over there, okay? Yes.
Another plug.
Another plug?
I write music.
I didn't know that.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
That you would. I knew you did it, but I didn't.
We both made a face.
I didn't know you did it for consumers to be able to purchase.
I want to.
Like, I know you do it for yourself.
I want to.
Like, because like your art, you've got commissions for your artwork, and I'm aware of that. But I didn't know you did your songwriting for others. That's dope.
Not yet, but I want to.
Okay.
So y'all can be the first customers.
And see, that's what we're saying. We're trying to help you out. Like, that's literally what we're doing. So I know you're thinking, well, where can we go for all of that? All of that information is available on our website, www.thekingandmeshow.com. Please go there, check it out. Privately message one of us. We'll be glad to direct you to where you can go and support this young artist. Which, because I'm the queen of segues, leads to the next part of this. So, Kastle, I am going to ask, can you hold your friend up a little bit more? That way your friend is in the frame for a second. So, I'm sorry, you said it earlier, and I just want to repeat it for those who missed. What's your friend's name?
Adobe.
All right, and why did you name this beautiful frog Adobe?
Because I am going into graphic design for school, and what I would use for my classes is Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, and animation when I took Computer Graphics 1 and Animation 1 in high school.
So why are you doing that? Why are you going into that path? Where do you want that to lead you? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years after you graduate? So we're assuming you're doing a 4-year stint at college. Where do you see yourself after that?
I've always been into drawing or just any of the arts in general, but mainly drawing. I've been mostly focusing on vocals for the past 4 years because I was in show choir, but my first love is visual art, and out of all of the careers that I wanted to go into that I could live comfortably because I am very spoiled, And I want to live in that kind of comfort, and I want to make that kind of money, but I don't just want to do a job that I don't like. So I chose graphic design because I'm like, that could make a certain amount of money. Like, that would make more money than like gambling on being a popular singer, or like gambling on like having like my art like becoming like really popular in like a museum. Like, I'd rather like work for like a company, design logos and such, so I can have a consistent income rather than commission, because I know like how hard it is for artists, especially today. And I want to be able to make a living while also doing what I love. But so that'd be basically 9 years, I guess. Right, because that'd be 4 years of college. Yeah. So in the next decade, basically, I see myself, I definitely want to go back to school, and whether that's to get my master's or like to like get a completely different degree, because I want to, at some point in my life, I do want to become a teacher, whether that's music education or art education.
Why?
I've always wanted to be a teacher in some way. Like, I love the arts, and I feel like children, especially today, need to express themselves, because as my choir teacher says, singing is one of the best ways to express your emotions and your feelings. Because like, it's like you're using your own voice as like your own instrument, and I would love to be a choir teacher, because like, it's amazing what you can do with like a whole room of voices. And also an art teacher, because like, I want to pass down like this gift of art, this very human gift of art, to the next generation. And whether that's like in like my late 20s, early 30s, 40s, 50s, I'd want to be a teacher at some point in my life.
I feel like I've succeeded in life. When at your graduation, when they say, if anyone is considering like becoming a teacher, make sure you stand proudly and you're like, I'm going into this.
Well, like, it's gonna be like later though. People would expect something.
It's okay.
Yeah, make a lot of money first.
Yeah,
before you get into that
especially being a
profession.
teacher. Especially like listen,
Wow.
passion and money making first. Then also still a passion, but
The
we all know
secondary.
that teachers aren't as appreciated.
So why is that? Why don't we get paid a lot? Like, let's focus on that. Come on, why don't we, the people who prepare people for every single career path that they will enter, we get paid the least?
There's a comment that is on the subject that we're talking now. What are your thoughts about what AI is doing to art?
I absolutely hate it. Like, art is one of the most human things, right beside cooking, because like, I feel like that's just like genius thing that like as humans have made. But art, it is one of the most human and natural things that we can have, and it is about our thoughts and our emotions. Like, a machine does not have its own thoughts, does not have its own emotions to express what they want. It is just prompts like of someone else.
I can't draw, but I could get my thoughts and emotions out to a prompt and have that prompt create what it is that I'm thinking about in my head.
You could commission someone.
Ooh.
Why is that important?
Because you are not only helping another human being out with like practicing and like you using their own talents and their own creativity, but you're also commissioning them, which means that they're getting money and making a living off of that. For me, that's what I want to do. But like I've seen all like these artists, like they're getting less commissions because of AI art. I cannot get commissions because people would rather turn to AI art than pay someone to do that.
Okay.
So, Jason said again in the chat, art teachers low key save so many kids of color by helping them find themselves, and I will agree with that. Like, I look at Kastle, who, granted, you are your parents' only child, but between the three of y'all, you are the only one who is about to pursue a traditional college experience. So you're kind of doing like some first generational stuff in that sense, kind of, sorta.
Yeah.
I am taking your aunts out of that conversation. So like, just looking at your parents and your grandparents, you are the first one first generation to pursue that traditional college path. And you were definitely doing things. And I think that a part of the reason why you're able to flourish, correct me if I'm wrong, why you're able to flourish the way that you are is because some art teachers, some teacher in general, made an impact and allowed you to see that it's okay for you to have the passion that you have and pursue the path that you want to pursue. Would you say that that's true?
I would say that that's true. Like when it comes to visual art, like I've heard like a lots of like other kids like having like art teachers that like were like, no, you can't draw anime, you can't draw all this stuff that sucks. You have to like stick to the book. I've never had teachers that are like that, like from elementary school to middle school, and I have not visited her in so long. I hope she still works there. My middle school art teacher that I had for all 3 years, she is a sweetheart. She's very fun. And then the art teachers that I had in high school, both ceramics and my visual art teacher, that I had the lovely chance of having her for all my visual art classes. Um, they like anytime I would say like, hey, like for this project, like can I like do this instead, or like can I like add this in? They would always be like yeah, like of course. Like I love frogs. And I would either try to incorporate frogs or mushrooms and even sometimes bees into my work, because I think those things are cute. And adding on to that, my choir teacher, that I've had for all 4 years of high school, um, he like no matter what, and I love singing. He was like, no matter what, please keep singing after like high school, and I'm like, of course I'm gonna keep singing. Like, why would I stop? Um, and and like he preaches that even if you aren't going into like music or whatever, just keep using your voice. Um, and I think like that's highly encouraging. So I've never had a discouraging art teacher.
Let me ask you a question because I felt some type of way. Y'all had the awards day the other day. How did you not win? What was it? Most artistic, best art. The person that won. What's your take? Like, is he known for his art too?
I don't remember who that kid was,
Oh.
but probably. I think it's mainly because I'm more involved in the choir than I am for the arts. Because I'm not really like how I said, I've been focusing more on the choir for like the past 4 years. Like I'm not kidding when I say that I was more focused in the arts department, the performing arts department, than the visual arts department, because I mainly took those as classes, nothing after school or clubs. And I will say that the clubs, the changes that they've made for how that's scheduled sucks, and we can barely even be at clubs now. But I have been more involved in the choir than the visual arts aspect.
Maybe it's me kind of being petty, but it's also me. I know you have a portfolio of art that you don't showcase, that people don't see. Do you plan on ever really showcasing your work to other people, or are you going to wait and more have like whatever you do for graphics design, that's going to be your job stuff, and then whatever you do as your therapy is just going to be your private stuff?
I
Like,
do
how are you going to showcase yourself that you are as talented as we know?
I do plan on having like a public portfolio. It's just a lot of my work is more personal to me. And I don't feel proud of showcasing it because a lot of them are unfinished or just generally like more just practice work. Um, and like the thing is that for a lot of artists, like a lot of artists don't show most of their work because they're either not proud of it, it's not finished, or just simply it's for me. But of course, the point of me going into graphic design is to showcase my work and have people pay for it. Um, I do plan on having a portfolio, and I do have some things that I have finished or like I could show now. It's just a lot of them are old works because I haven't had a lot of time to draw throughout the past like 4 years, especially throughout the school year because I have tons of concerts, rehearsals, and I like to be involved in the performing arts. It's just I haven't had the time or energy or motivation to be drawing finished works that I'd want to show people. It's mainly just me drawing just to move my hand.
Okay. I'll take the next one as well. So, like Michelle said earlier, she went through college traditionally right after high school. Both of your parents didn't. I went straight into the military, but there are some similarities between both from that 18 to 21-year-old range that I think could really help you out. For example, you're likely going to be staying on campus. You're going to start off kind of like your freshman year, right? You went from eighth grade to ninth grade year. You were at the lower end of the totem pole. Then you had to like work your way up. This is more of a question to Michelle. What do you think are some similarities between you going into college as a freshman year and me in the military that you think that we can tell her to either do or look out for that can help her succeed her first couple of years in college?
I'm gonna be very honest. So we had that similarity that we both started you and I both started undergraduate careers in Maryland at a black and gold school. Um, you're just actually gonna get your degree from it. I did not. But my advice to you is this: you have marketable skills and don't necessarily have the time to work. Try to find a way to make those marketable skills put money in your wallet.
Definitely. Yeah.
And I say that in the most legal up and up way. Let it make money for you. When I was a freshman in college, I braided hair. Like, that's how I made money in college. I braided hair, or I did in-kind things because I also illegally brought my car on campus, and I would take people places and stuff like that in exchange for other things. So we're not going to talk about what the other things are, but just in exchange for other things, that's what I did. So my recommendation to you: you are going that traditional path, find a way to let your art make you money. Never sell yourself. There's a difference between selling your work and selling yourself. So never sell yourself, never compromise who you are, what you believe in, the foundational things that were poured into the groundwork that was laid for you. Never lose sight of that. Sell your work, not you. And don't let anyone take advantage of you. Like, I heard what you said about the advice that you would give yourself as a high school freshman now. And I implore you to continue to use that, continue to trust your gut, and not, I want to put this in the nicest way possible, but also be honest. You are smaller in stature, and I don't want anyone to mistake your size for a level of weakness and to say that, oh, because she's small, I can just treat her any old type of way. I don't play that. You going to my hometown. I don't play that at all. Like, pulling up at that campus is absolutely nothing to me. So I want you to continue to go in there, continue to trust your gut. Let your talent make you money, but don't sell yourself.
Yeah. I will definitely say that like I do definitely want to make money off my talent, but I don't want to fall into what I've seen like a lot of creators fall into, is like they over monetize themselves and like their talents to where it is only a job, and it like they take something that comes from being a passion and it becomes like an obligation that like there's not that motivation for it. I don't want to fall into that because I know that like it can be very demotivating, and like, oh, like this is like basically like there are some people to where like their art just becomes their version of like a 9 to 5, to where like like they just have to do it. I want to make sure that I not only monetize myself but also separate like my passion from what is work, because I am going into something that is both passion and work, but I want to make sure that I remember that it's supposed to be fun and personal to me and not just a moneymaker.
I love that.
Here's what I'm gonna add. The thing that I would add, stuff that I see that was very similar to me joining the military at 18 versus somebody going to college at 18, is that I'm looking at the people that were successful then and what their habits were. And if you can identify people that aren't just lazy, they're not just sitting on campus, not doing anything when they know that they've got stuff to do. I think if you can identify a good network, there's a phrase or saying that I might butcher it up, but it's like your network is your net worth. Mm-hmm. So if you can find good people that can bring good value to you and the other people around them, stick to those people. some really solid folks that I knew then have gone on to be really successful now, and I could see that in them versus the ones that they were just shammers. They would rather go hide instead of doing what needed to be done, and they're struggling as adults now because they didn't bring value to anybody around them. So I would say identify those around you that bring value to other people, and keep those people in your social circles, in your close networks, because I believe that that's something that if you can get that understanding in college or at that age, that's something that could take you a long way as you grow older.
All right, Castle. So we're winding down. Like I said, when we asked you to pop onto our show, we are a 1 hour show. So in the wind down, I have just a couple fast round questions for you.
Ooh.
So it's not a this or that. And in hindsight, I should put it in a this or that, but here we are. But I would like you to tell the world, because literally Jason is over in Germany. I would like you to tell the world the first thing that comes to mind when I ask you these questions. So, dream dorm room setup. What is one thing that you must have in your dorm room?
I have the big IKEA bear. That's coming with me.
Nice.
Like anytime I would try to like talk to potential roommates, I would be like, I will say, I do have the big IKEA bear. That's coming with me. That is my emotional support. Most nights I don't even actually like sleep on that bear, but it just being there is the most comforting thing ever.
Okay. All right. I love it. Favorite senior year memory, and go.
There's a lot.
Pick one.
Pick one.
I don't like these kinds of questions. After my solo at my last competition, when the solo judge had commented to my mom and I think my choir teacher, saying that she was gonna try to like contact someone at the college that I'm going to, and oh my gosh, like she has like a Broadway voice, because when I told her because after I sang, she was asking, what are you gonna do after high school? And I was like, go for graphic design. And she was laughing and she was like, why is it always the ones that like aren't going into music? I find that to be a very nice compliment. So yeah.
All right, love it. Go to comfort food.
Fries. Or
Any
noodles.
particular brand or style?
Shoestring or anything that's like very small. They're the most crispy and for all the people out there that believe soggy fries, especially steak fries, are good, you are wrong. Very wrong.
Honey, you may struggle. You may struggle where you're going, but that's it.
No,
Never mind. Never mind.
no, please.
No, it's
Steak
okay. It's okay. Go ahead.
fries.
Finish what you were saying.
Shoestring fries.
I'm gonna let you live.
Shoestring fries, small cut, very crunchy, perfect comfort. I especially like crunchy food because I'm a very textured person. Sometimes I don't like crunchy food. When I don't like crunchy food, I like to have rice or noodles. I love carbs. That's basically what keeps me running every day.
All right. And what inspires you right now?
What inspires me right now? That's really hard to say. Inspires me for what in particular?
Anything. What, you know what? Let me hone this in. What causes you to wake up every morning?
The game Blueprints, because I've been obsessed with
That's
it.
not what I thought you were
In The Sims 4. I've actually been sleeping in for like the past 2 days, and my version of sleeping in is like 7 a.m. because going to school makes me wake up at like 6, sometimes even 5. And I'm up at godly hours and barely getting sleep. But I've been getting at least 7 hours. That's good. And so I only have the game Blueprints, not sponsored, here at my dad's. And I'm not often with my dad throughout the school year, and I have The Sims 4, like, also not sponsored, anywhere because I have my laptop, but I love that game. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun.
That's hilarious. You are a gamer like me. That's one thing that when I think about my influence, I believe that my influence for you has been your ability to logically think through something I think that you do take your time to think through things, and that you're also a gamer. And you and I, we used to have daddy daughter time where we would just game, primarily Minecraft. Lately, I've been enjoying watching you play Blueprints on your own because it's one of those thinking type games, and to see how you think through something versus like what I would do. Sometimes I'm like, no, don't do that, but you have your reason and your way of doing something. So I'm just like, I'm proud of the young woman that you've became. Everybody thinks that I'm going to shed tears tomorrow, and look, if I do,
I got my friend ready to take blackmail pictures. Don't y'all worry.
It is tears of a proud father that has raised somebody that is not a young thought in these streets. She is somebody that is respected, thoughtful. She cares about the people around her, and she's not going to be a mouth breather. Somebody that's just taking oxygen and giving nothing back. So that's what makes me happy. That's what makes me proud. I say that as a joke, but I also really do mean it. I'm thankful that you're not somebody that when your name is said, people go, ugh. Folks go, yeah, I like Kastle. In general, you're gonna have haters. It is what it is. But in general,
Oh my gosh.
I am proud of you. I just want you to know that.
Thank you. Something that makes me very happy is that, especially the freshmen in choir this year, I'm someone's favorite choir auntie.
Ooh.
I was very happy.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah, and I had asked him like after I'm gone, who's your favorite choir auntie or uncle? And he was like, nobody. You're my favorite. And I was like, yay, I'm someone's favorite. I'm someone's favorite senior. That makes me really happy.
Awesome. That speaks to your ability as a leader. So you should be happy and proud of that.
I'm reading the chat right now, and that's very funny.
All right, so Kastle, we're about to wind up. While I say our closing things for the wind down, while I say my closing things for the evening, I would like you to think of something, words of wisdom that you would like to offer to us, and to the people watching. So I'm gonna give you a moment to think about it, and then I'll come back. And I know that's why I'm giving you time. So I'm gonna do all of our rapid things, but words of wisdom that you have from your perspective in life that you would like us to know, as we adults engage with this generation. What is something that we should walk away from knowing? I'm gonna give you a second to think about it.
Like this prompt.
I know, honey. I know. This is the sucky part of being a teacher.
You're gonna have me sitting for like an hour.
It's not. But see, you don't have an hour. You got like 2 minutes.
No,
Okay. All right. So no, you got this. I have so much faith in you. Like this is you. Your moment to shine.
Let me start. I'll be brief. Thanks y'all for tuning in. If anybody would like to support Kastle as she's going into college, I put her cash app into the chat. It is happyfrogizz.
Happyfrogizz.
Happyfrogizz. It is $happyfrogizz. Michelle, you have the floor.
All right. So we thank you again so much for tuning in this evening. Like, I know we dropped a couple of plugs here and there, but at the end of the day, if you just go over to www.thekingandmeshow.com, you'll be able to connect with us and engage with us in every single way. You can pick up this dope shirt if you're interested in it. Get some of our standard shirts that we have there. Also be able to connect and see some of the beautiful artwork that Kastle has created and be able to follow along with what we share. We invite you into this community, recognizing and realizing that this is how we share this healthy outlook on a real relationship. Everything is not going to be perfect. We don't strive for perfection here at the King and Me Show, but what we do strive for is to help you understand that real life happens every single day. And I am going on and on because I'm a teacher. I could talk forever as I give Kastle this opportunity to come up with some words of wisdom, advice, a takeaway for us. What you got for us?
I would say something that I have observed, and not only just with my generation, I mean especially with my generation, but with a lot of people nowadays, I feel like we're afraid of getting a little uncomfortable when it comes to trying to build ourselves, because like sometimes you have to step out of a comfort zone to really improve yourself or just to broaden your world. I feel like nowadays people are too stuck on trying to make their environment, whether that's like physical or social environment, too comfortable to the point where there's nothing outside of their comfort zone that they can adventure out of, building a wall around themselves. Because comfort isn't always what's good for us. I feel like something that like especially like for your students is to teach that it's okay to be a little uncomfortable with certain things, like not saying to like make yourself stressed and totally just like anxiety ridden and all that stuff and suffering, but to know how to be uncomfortable and experience some things, to like exercise your brain and your experiences. Because like I noticed especially this year that people are just too stuck up being like their own comfort zones. Like even for me, like I'm too afraid to like be uncomfortable about like driving and such, when like it would be beneficial for me to, you know, finally get my license. But like I feel like these days it's important to learn how to be uncomfortable in certain circumstances.
Okay. Well, speaking of uncomfortability, Michelle and I usually end our show by kissing each other. But
since we're all here,
we want to thank y'all for tuning in. We'd like to thank Kastle for agreeing to be the first guest on our show today. Kastle, thank you.
Hi.
You have plenty of supporters.
Thank you, Adobe. Don't forget about Adobe.
And what up to Adobe as well.
Before we leave for tomorrow,
we have a graduate!
and the hat's off.
All right, to the commenters and everybody, thank y'all for tuning in. This has been another episode of the King and Me Show. We will see y'all next Monday with a high school graduate. Peace.